Welcome to the League of Women Voters of Snohomish County Forum. We are focusing on candidates who will appear in the primary election in 2021. This forum is for candidates for the City of Everett Council Position 3. I'm your moderator, Vicki Roberts-Gassler, League member and past president. Our candidates for City of Everett Council Position 3 are LACEY SAUVAGEAU, Jacob Vale, and Don SCHWAB. The League thanks all the candidates for running for office, for their willingness to serve the community if elected, and for participating in this forum. It is the policy of the League to be nonpartisan. Therefore, we neither endorse nor oppose candidates or parties. We do take positions on issues which we have studied and on which we have reached consensus. Ground rules for this forum were sent ahead of time to all the candidates. Let me briefly explain the question and answer period rules. The first three questions have been sent ahead of time to the candidates. They are designed as an introduction to each candidate's qualifications and strengths. I will pose the questions. Each candidate will have 60 seconds to respond to each question. The fourth and final question will allow a 90-second answer. We are using a countdown timer that is visible to all candidates. It shows elapsed time, signaling when there are 15 seconds left and when time is up. Time limits on answers will be strictly enforced. In fact, there's a bell that will ring and it will cover up whatever you're still saying. When you see the timer turn red and hear the chime, you're done. I will change the starting order of each question, alternating between the candidates. The order was determined to ensure a random and fair sequence. The order for the first question will be Ms. SAUVAGEAU, then Mr. SCHWAB, and then Mr. Vale.
Vicki, you should ask the candidates to mute when they are not speaking.
Thank you. Can you please mute when you're not speaking and be ready to unmute right away when you get the question. So the first question, starting with Ms. SAUVAGEAU, what are the major responsibilities of this office and what skills are needed to perform them well?
The major responsibilities for this office are review and approve the annual budget, long and short-term goals and priorities, oversee effectiveness of programs, establish the tax rates, pass ordinances and resolutions, respond to community needs and complaints, regulate public health and safety. The skills that are needed are to be punctual, organized, detail-oriented, responsive to emails, phone calls, knows the public opinion, but represents the needs of the city.
Thank you. Mr. SCHWAB, what are the major responsibilities of this office and what skills are needed to perform them well? Please unmute and answer the question.
Yes, thank you for that. Okay, thank you. Yes, one of the first major roles is policy making and implementing those policies. So a council member needs to listen to the citizens or neighbors. They need to keep track of their concerns and their wishes. They need to be an advocate for their neighborhoods and their needs. And they need to discuss and develop and adjust city policies. Second main role of a council member is to deal with personnel matters. You need to adopt personnel policies, wages, benefits. The council should not meddle in the mayor's supervisionary part of the employees, but it should establish parameters and approve final labor contracts. The third one is the city budget. The council needs to establish goals, priorities, and provide a framework for public and policy discussions. They need to set tax rates and extend committed.
Thank you.
I got muted.
That's fine. Mr. Vale, major responsibilities and skills needed to perform them well.
Well, first off, thank you for the question. And really it comes down to representation of the Everett city. Now that's identifying priority needs for the city and adjusting that through legislation, also through talking to its citizens and really listening. The biggest part of what I've seen throughout all the city council meetings that I've listened to is it's more of the involvement of the boards and commissions and really making sure that the legislation and the administrative branch of the city government is establishing in a direction that's good for the city. And the major skills that you need for that is you need to be able to pay attention, you need to be able to listen, and you need to be able to devise a plan and then implement that plan through forums and talking with your citizens and boards and commissions. And that's the biggest part of it for me.
Thank you. Second question. This time we will start with Mr. SCHWAB, then Mr. Vail, and Ms. SAUVAGEAU. What are 2 or 3 major issues that need to be addressed by the Everett City Council? Mr. SCHWAB. Unmute and answer the question. You're still muted. Thank you.
Okay. Hello. Public safety is my first priority. Our police and fire and EMS systems must be adequately staffed, resourced, and trained to ensure safe response times. These are essential services, and I think they must be fully funded. I support effective strategies for the community, policing, overdose prevention, and connecting individuals to recovery services. We must pursue and innovate funding sources, including state and federal grants, to meet these needs. Additionally, we must increase pedestrian safety, especially at the district's many unsafe intersections along Evergreen Way and Mukilteo Boulevard. My second priority is to deal with the current housing problem. There isn't enough units that's keeping up with job and the population growth. This is driving up costs for both renters and home buyers. Growth is happening. Our children and grandchildren and people are attracted to Everett with a strong economy. So we must encourage housing growth with an emphasis on, okay.
Thank you. Mr. Vail, 2 or 3 major issues that need to be addressed by the Everett City Council.
I would actually say that the first major issue that I see is infrastructure, and not just with our roads and our plumbing and those kind of things. They're being addressed as we speak right now, but also with the transportation. Now, it's estimated that we're going to have 60,000 more people coming. And yes, there's plans in place right now by the Everett Council to address these things as far as transit is concerned and getting it more readily stable and really more electrically viewed. And that's, by either combining or not combining. That's still in debate. So that's one of the issues. The other one is accessibility. And when I say accessibility, I'm not just talking about, for people to be able to come into Everett and enjoy its views or whatnot, but also, businesses and people with disabilities like myself need to have the accessibility to the parks and to other things in order for the city to grow. And without those things being addressed the correct way, I think we're really headed for some trouble.
Thank you. Ms. SAUVAGEAU, 2 or 3 major issues to be addressed by the Everett City Council.
The first issue I have is the homelessness. I do support the pallet shelters idea and keeping them in them. And then we need to have social workers that can go out with the police and make mental health contacts. That will help with homelessness. And then social services having access to that. And the next issue is public safety. I agree with advisory and oversight groups to hold the police accountable. I do support the police. I think there needs to be a balance between accountability and funding for them. And then the next priority is small businesses and nonprofits, making it more friendly and access for people to join the city with businesses.
Thank you. Okay, the third question is, what qualifications and experience make you a strong candidate? This time we will start with Mr. Vail, then Ms. SAUVAGEAU, and then Mr. SCHWAB. So Mr. Vail.
So what qualifications and experience make me a strong candidate? First off, I've been involved with a lot of different projects along the way. Out in Colorado, I worked with various different groups for like park management, things like that. Right now, I'm involved with the Snohomish County Parks Department, sit on the commission's board. I've written proclamations to the government that Governor Inslee has signed. So I know how the process works. I'm already sitting on the Everett City Civil Commissions Board. And yes, that would have to go away if I get this position. But it gives me a unique look at how the city inner workings are right now. So I already have kind of an idea of the structure and how it all works. I also have been an account manager. I've done business law, and I've studied all this different legislation material in order to implement it in a way that everyone gets heard. And I think that's what makes me a very strong candidate.
Thank you. Ms. SAUVAGEAU, what qualifications and experience make you a strong candidate?
I do not have any previous elected experience. I have worked in public service as a Snohomish County 911 dispatcher for 5 years. I've volunteered in the community. I've lived in Everett my whole life. I went to Cascade High School. I do citizens patrol with Linwood Police Department. And I attend all the city council meetings and listen to them.
Thank you. Mr. SCHWAB, qualifications and experience that make you a strong candidate?
Yes, my professional qualifications, I have a bachelor's degree in organizational leadership. I have 30 years as a firefighter in Everett as a leader. I have a financial background. I'm currently work for the Treasurer's Office of Snohomish County. During my last 30 years as a firefighter, I've proudly served the families in the city of Everett in their time of need. My experience as an emergency professional has taught me the power and resiliency, the strength of our community, and the importance of service. I've been an advocate for the safety of citizens in the state legislature. As a board member of the Washington State Council of Firefighters, I have served on several community boards, including the Snohomish County Red Cross. I'm very connecting to people, and I am good at listening and representing my neighbors.
Thank you very much. So the fourth question, the mystery question, is you're going to have 90 seconds to answer. What have we neglected to ask that you would like to bring to our attention? So this can be anything that you want to say in addition to the things that we've asked you. You want to go further to explain something or go in some completely different direction. It's up to you. So we will begin with Ms. SAUVAGEAU.
Okay, so with COVID, I think we need to address the budget and make it more conservative. I think there needs to be less spending. And then we need to focus on, I think we do need a tax increase to make up for the deficit. There's no other way to do it. And then we need to expand the waterfront, keep expanding with affordable housing, low-income housing, access to social services, funding the police, the fire department.
Okay, thank you. Mr. SCHWAB, anything that we didn't ask that you'd like to bring to our attention?
Yes, I'll finish my first question about priorities. Really must encourage housing growth with an emphasis on promoting density, especially along our transportation corridors, Broadway, Evergreen Way, and South Everett. I'm an advocate for the inclusion of affordable housing units, but maintain a mix of income levels in each project. Our city government needs to continue to be diverse and inclusive. I think diversity creates beauty and strength. I support the goal. This includes our workforce, some of our contracted workforce businesses. Also, I think we need to consider what Everett's part is with the environment. Tackling climate change must be a priority for every government. Everett must promote energy efficiency by developing strategies and improve efficiency of our facilities. We also need to look at setting energy efficiencies for new developments and encourage improvements in both residential and commercial. I want to thank everybody here and all those out there listening and appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Vale, 90 seconds to let us know what we neglected to ask that you'd like to bring to our attention.
That's a really good question. I thank you for that. The one thing that I would say that wasn't addressed is not just the lack of safety, but really the homelessness of youth and what that means. I mean, working with Cocoon House, working with different places out there, but have that reach out sponsorship, bring them into the fold, and really try to figure out a way to help some of these youths out there and really try to help the unhoused. And I think that's the biggest thing that wasn't addressed here is really the unhoused, not just for youth, but for different orientations, different LGBTQIA plus community. There is something there to be said for making sure that when we're talking about safety, we're not just talking about overall, but we're talking about the 40% of homeless youth. We're talking about the 60% that are motively outlined because of just their orientation or their skin color. These are things that need to be addressed within the city that are going on right now, with 17% of gender identity, and giving that a safe local speech for them to have their voices back and reach that community of equality.
Thank you. Thank you very much. This concludes our forum. A recording of the forum will be available on the League of Women Voters website, of the League of Women Voters of Snohomish County website, and on our YouTube channel. And it's going to be aired on KSER 90.7 FM. You can find the full schedule of our candidate forums at LWVSNOHO.org. We encourage voters to explore additional information about these and all candidates. The Snohomish County voter pamphlet will be mailed to residents starting on July 14th. The primary election ballots will be mailed on July 15th, and Election Day is August 3rd. Please vote. Again, thank you for joining us.